Γεια σε όλους, γεια σας παιδιά. Δεύτερη μέρα. So this is Andreas, and of course as we started every single other discussion, tell them how we met.
Yeah, of course. Hello everybody, my name is Andreas. You can call me Drewskii if you want. I'm a digital designer, self-taught. I started my career early in 2018. I was working with agencies, franchises, and in the past 2 years, I'm a Web3 contributor to a large DAO. It's called Game 7. We've allocated a huge amount of money that we're going to spend in the next 45 years in order to empower builders in the Web3 gaming industry and basically create a huge impact in that area. I met up with Jon from a random Facebook post. He was looking for designers, and during that time I was really looking to escape the 9 to 5, so I was like, sure, let's do it. And the rest is history, basically.
Yeah, the details were that I wanted to find a designer, so I posted on Facebook as I usually do, hey guys, I'm looking for a designer, and a lot of people sent their designs, and 99.9% were people that were making logos like they're working at a coffee shop, like identical stuff. And this guy sends me, and it's like he's from Los Angeles, from the hood and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, literally 1 out of like 50 people, but it was like crystal clear. Like I was scrolling and I'm like, what the fuck? Is he copy pasting from somebody in Los Angeles and posting? So I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Let's start working together. And here we are after
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. So yeah, he called, no, it wasn't cold mail. It was actually, cold mail, but it was based on the...
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And then we did a lot of other designs, he did a lot of other designs for the conference, like the shoes, for example, that you see that everybody that's involved for the conference has shoes that they say on this side, in Web3 we trust, and on this side it's the logo that also Andreas designed. And I'm not going to remove all my shoes to see because it has other stuff inside. The hats.
Yeah, the hats. Don't be jealous, guys. Sorry, they're limited, so first come, first served, basically.
Oh, yeah. So he did all our branding and everything. And then we were talking what other crazy stuff we could do for the conference. And I'm like, maybe we could do an ebook. So the idea, and we'll talk a little bit what's the stable diffusion because it's tightly connected to what about the ebook. If you watch movies from the US that are taking place in a courthouse, you'll see that when the video cameras are not allowed into the courthouse, they have a guy, ένα κομπάρσο, and then he's drawing like crazy, like, yes, this guy said that. So we thought, what if we take all the presentations and we feed all the text, all the prompts to Stable Diffusion, which we'll discuss in a bit what it is, and create an ebook of what happened here through the eyes of Stable Diffusion. So whatever we talk, Andreas will take later and will create all these ideas, and we'll create a book with all the highlights that took place in the conference. And all the tickets, all the designs of the tickets, if you see, they are made with Stable Diffusion from Andreas. And if you pay close attention, you'll see also the prompt that we used to generate the tickets. Having said all that, because everybody told me, I could do all this stuff with Stable Diffusion, you cannot. I tried many times, it sucks, it's terrible. So I almost tried to do the tickets and I'm like, it cannot be done. And then Andreas was like, no, you could do this, X, Y, Z, blah, blah. And this is something that you've never seen before and it's amazing. So yes, AI is a tool, if you are a talented artist, else it's going to look terrible. I'm going to make another small parenthesis, because it's going to take 3 hours if I keep talking, but this is my last small parenthesis. So the ebook, whoever came to the conference, their tickets are automatically checked in if they are 1 kilometer radius. So people that join the conference will automatically be airdropped the ebook in their email, because you also logged in with your email. On top of that, we're going to create a physical edition, like high premium and everything, where Rick Carter will sign it, and we're trying to figure out if we are going to do an auction. Are we going to just sell it online? We have no idea, but we're also going to do a physical edition if people like to do it. We're 100% open. If you have any ideas, if we should add something, remove something, we're just doing it because it's super fun. experimenting with technology and seeing how we can use, all this stuff to create something awesome.
Yeah, we're also going to add a bunch of resources, tutorials, and all that because we cannot go in full depth on how to use it. So we're going to have a bunch of links, tutorials, in order to understand Stable Diffusion.
Oh yeah, definitely there'll be a section where it highlights how you could do it, because he showed me a little bit how he does it, which is crazy. But at least if you want to start getting into that space, becoming a prompt engineer, as now they're calling it, it's a good start.
Yeah, of course.
So how did you get involved with Stable Diffusion? How did you start doing it?
First of all, let's say what Stable Diffusion is exactly. It's a super awesome deep AI learning machine that basically works in a very simple way. You feed the machine a couple of texts, which are phrases, sentences that we call prompts. And basically, we translate the prompt, the text, into an image. During this day...
An example?
Okay, let's say that I want to create a house in the forest. The prompt, the initial prompt is house in the forest. Of course, that's a super generic and very vague sentence, so the AI is gonna mess it up completely. So the key is to start adding a bunch of words into that prompt. You might say, I want a red house in a green forest. So you keep on adding stuff, words, sentences, phrases, emojis, in order for the AI to basically create a way more accurate image of
create your vision of the image.
Exactly, yeah, we said yesterday. So it works with prompts. The word Stable Diffusion and the diffusion as well is a physics term. And Stable Diffusion, when it comes to physics, is basically you have a medium, and in that medium there are particles. These particles are moving in random ways inside the medium. So they have the tendency to move from higher concentrations to lower ones. So if you start rendering in Stable Diffusion and you stop it midway, you will see that it's like a broken TV. There are a bunch of particles that are random and messed up. So the whole premise is that those particles trying to find their way inside this medium in order to be generated, and you have a final output. So it's pretty cool that we combine physics with AI. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. And so let's say you're a designer in Greece. Do you think that people should start looking at Stable Diffusion, or no, if you know Photoshop, you're gonna be okay? Even though I think Photoshop will start integrating Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, I think we already did. There are a bunch of plugins that let you create images on the spot on Figma. I think AI is an insane tool. You should definitely use it and start using it. It's a way, for example, to make art less exclusive as well. There are a bunch of people that really want to get into art, but art as a whole process is super complicated. It takes a lot of time and training in order to actually become a good artist. So there are people that have insane visions, but they're never able to basically see them come to life. So having a tool that lets you actually see that vision in some kind of way, and then you come and create something else, you manipulate it, you give it life, it's something that's insane to me. So yeah, definitely use it.
Have you seen other companies from the US that I don't think they will ask for Stable Diffusion, designers, but have you seen that they kind of require that you are creating things that are out of the ordinary? Because Stable Diffusion, the images are far out, but if you overdo it, it's like a hideous cram of randomness. So you have to be very specific. Have you witnessed any company that hey, I want this madness in my images, but controlled chaos?
Yeah, I mean, that depends on what the goal is as well. I mean, it's pretty generic approach. But yeah, it's great for companies to use it. I've seen a lot of examples this past few weeks with people that are using the open source software. They create completely new apps. You can create avatars in a minute, and people look like real. It's really hard to distinguish real and fake. You can also build your dream home with Stable Diffusion. There's an app that you basically say, I need an industrial house, all cement, and you have a complete 3D rendering in like minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Something that would take an architect months to build.
Yeah,
So it's insane.
I've even seen an app where you upload a photo of your house, of your living room, and then you select the style and then puts furniture in your house. It's crazy. Like you put a house that has all these couches, it removes them, and then puts I want a baroque style, and then makes it baroque. It's like insane, and you don't even need an interior designer or then an exterior designer. So it's happening. There are still some issues because sometimes
Of course.
yeah, AI creates like people with with 6 fingers.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. Hands are a huge issue.
And another bigger issue was with the eyes. For a long time, it was doing crossed eyes, and then I spent some time to fix it. Which I don't know why the sample keeps having like this issue. But let's open it a little bit for the audience because we could be talking here for hours. Any questions about stable diffusion? Let me bring the microphone. Κάτσε να το πετάξω. Όχι, το φέρνω.
Did you ever run in the text that you sent, the AI, you sent it to the artist, to see what they do?
Unfortunately, no, but that's a good challenge to see what the similarities are going to be and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So you see whether you get something on how AI performs?
For sure, because AI is a bit unpredictable. There's a certain website that allows you to see a database of stable diffusion generated images with the prompt next to it. And you might have a crazy landscape that's totally beautiful, but the prompts are random. They could be like commas, apostrophes, like, how the hell does the machine do it? So it could be a good challenge, but the prompt should be super clear in order for an artist to interpret it.
If you want really to change something, is there a way to make a procedural, for example, you want to make something like a very painting, you need to be able to identify exactly what AI affects after you put some kind of description. So is there a way to systematically start building more layers of information and then subtract that information from one another and be able to identify which string matches to which part of the image?
For sure. I'm not really well versed when it comes to coding and development, but since it's AI, since it's actually a code and basically a machine, I'm sure you can reverse engineer everything and find out the root of everything. So yeah.
This is to create a tool that anybody can use. So they create something, but they see something they don't like. They can immediately click on that, identify what's wrong, and then change it directly.
Oh yeah, there was a huge issue with NSFW images as well when it comes to stable diffusion. So there are so many forks that use the stable diffusion basic code. But yeah, they put on parameters in order to limit some certain characteristics and stuff. Yeah, there was a huge issue with pedophilia as well when it comes to generating images. And they were pretty fast to tackle that issue. They limited everything that's related to it. So yeah, you can do everything because it's open source. So.
Any other question?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Have you thought to add probably a dialogue? Because of course it's fusion and for artists it's nice to give him one sentence. But if someone like an engineer and architect, like I want to have, how about one family house, big, small, to come back with the question, how tall, or do you have a garden, or I don't know, have you thought about this?
A process that many artists, let's say, follow when it comes to stable diffusion is using ChatGPT. So you can start chatting with another bot and says, yeah, I want a house. He will start asking you, what type of house? How do you want it to look like? So you basically integrate a bunch of open source apps together, and then you have a full-on prompt that you can drag and drop into stable diffusion, and you have the image ready.
Πώς θα ρωτήσεις?
Hey, Bruce, thank you so much for sharing your insights. So, you talked about stable diffusion, and you heard about DALI and Midjourney and other tools that are basically text to image. So, the first question is, what's the difference between all of these tools?
First of all, I think a bunch of them are also paid. You have to pay in order to use them. They use some kind of credit system. I'm not really sure. The good thing about stable diffusion is that open source. You can basically manipulate it the way you want. And also, I think it's a better machine after all because basically the more you use it, the more trained it becomes, so the more specific it gets. So the more input you from prompts or images as well, the more trained it becomes. And because there was a huge buzz about it, it became actually super trained in a matter of 2 weeks. So I think this type of approach makes it a slightly better option than the other. Yeah.
And one more technical question, like what's the best way to use Stable Diffusion? Because you said it's an open source project, so do I need to write code? Do I need to install it?
Yeah. The way that I use it is actually pretty interesting because I'm using a Mac, but installing Stable Diffusion on a Mac is hell. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
So what I do is basically I rent a supercomputer from a brand called Vagon, VAGON. You can rent a supercomputer for like $0.99 per hour. So you just install Windows on that computer. You run Stable Diffusion via Windows, which is super easy. It's just an exe file. So you run Stable Diffusion on your browser, and the computational speed is insane. So you render like 5 images in a minute. It's like crazy. There's no need to basically put it all on your PC and make it overheat. You can just use this type of approach. I mean, it works for me insanely good. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think give it back to you. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
So I have a kind of different question. These days on Twitter, the hashtag no to AI art has been trending. I would like to know your stance on, AI being fed very specific images of artists, and how do you see this as art theft? Do you have what's your view on that?
I think it's important to distinguish the difference between art and design. Art is a process that is based on emotion. So an artist creates some body of work based on emotion. So it's not really great wording to use the term AI art. It's not AI art, it's just an AI image. Because there's no emotional process behind it in order to be made. It's more logical. So the fact that we use AI art is basically wrong. Because it's basically more on the design logic part of it. And I don't really agree with sabotaging it. To me, it sounds like a lazy way to protest about something. And as we've seen from the beginning of time, any change is always criticized because some people are just not ready to adapt. So the best option is to adapt, use it as a tool in order to elevate yourself and not act like so, I don't know, I don't like whining in general. So it's not a good approach to anything new.
And it is a tool, it's how you use it, it's what images you fit to it. From what I understand, you create your own database of images and everything, and that's amazing. But it can be used as a way for people to benefit from other people's work, and I think that's notable, something to note.
Also, I'm not a developer, but I'm sure that you can reverse engineer everything. So the argument that, for example, I was seeing on Twitter the other day, a deepfake of Morgan Freeman was super realistic. I'm like, wow, AI is gonna kill us all. But if you think about it clearly, I'm sure you can easily reverse image and create a tool that spots everything that's fake in 1 second.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it's not a big of a deal. But we are romantic, so we like to make everything sound crazy and scary. It's also the culture as well. See all the movies that involve robots and AI. It's like, there's a bit of fear mongering, I don't know. But it's not a big deal. Thank you very much.
Hello. Is it true that Stable Diffusion announced that the Stable Diffusion free upgrade will give access to artists at its database to exclude the artwork if they wish?
I'm not sure about it, to be honest.
It's like a few days ago, there's this rumor across the internet.
I'm not sure about it. Sorry, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe grab it. I think I've heard it, but I don't know how many artists will actually do it. I know that some artists were vocal about removing the art, but It's the style, so it copies the style. It's like an artist, like I could see how Ricardo did this, and I replicate it by hand. So I don't know what they're trying to do. Like their style doesn't be popular or whatever. Because the funny thing is that a lot of artists, and I have in my mind there is an artist that has a marcadoros,
Marker.
a marker, marcador, I don't know, a big marker, and he's doing something like small, very cute drawings, and I've seen like 50 people doing like that, and all of them they are famous. So it's a style. There is no unique art anymore. Like people use the style to express different feelings. I'm pretty sure that, as Andreas said, people will try to push back. No, we shouldn't use AI. It's not real art. And at the end, people will start using AI. And yesterday, Rick didn't say that some of these creations for the movies were created with Photoshop version 1, and he was the first artist that was using it, and everybody else was saying, I don't know, using computers to do what artists are doing. So, yeah, I think we'll see some things that will be different, definitely in the next couple of years. Like AI is going very aggressively. Paul, you want something? Yes. Yeah.
Very cool stuff. My question is, like, can you talk about what percent of your work now is using AI, and how do you see that, becoming more in the future or less?
I would say that right now is a really small percentage, actually. I mainly use Stable Diffusion in order to basically create concepts in order to help me with my work, but I don't really apply it to many of my projects. It's mostly a tool in order for me to gain inspiration, try stuff out, see what works and what doesn't, maybe manipulate an output that Stable Diffusion gives me certain projects, but it's a minor percent, it's like 5%. Thank you.
Any other questions? Perfect. Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Wilson.